So the fundamental rights are perhaps the most important part of the Indian Constitution. You know that. So entitlement and right are different things, right? Right is a legal term, more of a legal term than entitlement. Right is what is legally due to you. Okay? Right is what you can enforce if denied. Now, there can be few types of rights. And we're talking about right in a very formal sense, right? We're not talking right, left, the right where we're talking about that. So, first category of right would be legal right. What is a legal right? Legal right means any right that you acquire by or through some provision of law. And any act, any legislation of the state government or the parliament, if there is any right given to you, then it is your legal right. Right, that's your legal right. No, but that's how your constitutional right also, but we'll come to that. Now, fundamental rights are very special rights. We're talking about that category of fundamental. Fundamental rights are the rights contained in Part 3 of the Constitution. No other rights are fundamental rights. So we can be very, very clear about. They are found nowhere, but only in Part 3 of the Constitution of India. So constitutional right means all right minus Part 3. All rights given in Constitution, excluding the rights given in Part 3. So all the rights that are in the Constitution other than fundamental rights are constitutional rights. Now, if you have to arrange these rights in the order of their precedence or primacy, then how will you do it? You will put fundamental rights first, then constitutional rights, and then legal rights in that order. What makes fundamental rights so special is what we're going to talk about, because next few classes we will spend on fundamental rights. These are at the same time most fundamental for the very survival of the human beings. Why are they called fundamental? Because they are, without them you cannot you cannot even survive and live a dignified human life. Okay? Without the fundamental rights, it is not possible. So they are most fundamental. Now there is, you may also say that there are some other human rights here. Okay, let's talk about that. Not so legal, but human rights. There can be human rights which are not contain any of these, but they are important as human rights. Right? They may not have a legal sanctity. They may not be a legal right. They may not fall in the category of constitutional right or fundamental right, but they can still be some human rights. All the fundamental rights are human rights, but all human rights are not fundamental. It's a larger bracket. So, our most important human right. What gives them a very special position in this category of rights is their fundamental rights are justiciable. Right? Fundamental right. Well, for any legal right, you can go to court. If your brothers are not giving you right in the property of your father, you can go to court and seek. This justiciable means very important things. For this, you can go to the Supreme Court directly. Move the Supreme Court directly. There's no other provision in the entire Constitution or any law of the land where a common citizen can approach Supreme Court directly. Fundamental rights in the Constitution, there is no constitutional provision as important as fundamental rights. We'll keep talking about that a lot. But as far as justiciability is concerned, this is the only thing for which a common citizen can go to the Supreme Court directly, and in no other case. Okay, the fundamental rights, they basically uphold the dignity of the individual. Where is dignity of individual? It is one of our the most important objective of the entire constitution and the entire apparatus, the governance apparatus that it creates. If I ask you to tell me just one ultimate objective of the constitution and the entire governance apparatus that the constitution creates, the ultimate objective of the constitution, the government, the judiciary, the executive, the legislature, or whatever is there in whatever that constitution creates, is to ensure the dignity of the individual. So what does it say? We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Okay, this kind of state. And then another, to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, political, liberty of thought, belief, faith, expression, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity. Assuring. Now all this to do what? All this that we have said so far. Assuring the dignity of the individual. First thing. The first thing, the dignity of the individual is the first thing it wants to assure. After securing this and creating this kind of state, after doing all this, after solemnly resolving and all that, it wants to do two things ultimately. One is assuring what? The dignity of the individual. Okay? And second, the unity and integrity of the nation. So these are the two ultimate objectives. That is what they want to ensure. Correct? And to assure this, all these rights. To assure this, justice, political, social, economic. To assure this, liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief. To assure this, equality of status and opportunity. To assure this, they want to promote fraternity. To assure this, they want to create a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. And they keep it above it. First, the dignity of the individual and then the integrity of the nation. No, integrity means it's territorial integrity. Territorial means it should not disintegrate. Its integrity means as people, as population, it must remain intact. As a sovereign state, it must remain intact. That kind of integrity. They form basic structure of the constitution. We'll come to this basic structure a little later, but they form the basic structure of the constitution. Now, it is important to also to understand that this basic structure is not a constitutional term and it does not appear anywhere in the constitution. It has evolved over a period of time. Right? Originally, there were 7 fundamental rights. Later on, the right to property was deleted, removed. And now we have how many? 6 FRs. And the first among these rights, these are sections are basically from 12 to Article 12 to 35. Okay. So what they have done is they have clubbed these articles into 6 broad categories. And that is why we say that there are 6 types of rights, not 6 rights per se, but 6 types of fundamental. Okay. But they're generally in common parlance, they're also termed as 6. How many fundamental rights? 6 rights. The list of fundamental rights. So right to equality, they also Article 14 to 18, it is covered in that. Right to freedom is basically Article 19 to 22. And this is given in 23 to 25. This is right to freedom of religion, exploitation 24, and this is given in 25 to 28. This is in 29 to 30, and this is 32. This used to be Article 31, which is now gone. Okay. However, this is not gone completely. It's just gone from here and it has shifted to Article 300A. And it has now become what? Constitutional right.